Cup of Joe with Grampa Dez.
I love that. I love the Tim Hortons too.
Yeah, this is I get that same reaction every time so far. So I'm
Yeah,
glad you like my little professional theme song.
love it. Love it.
All right, so if you don't know, I'm joined today by my good buddy Promise, or as we I in the show notes or in the description you'll see on YouTube, I wrote Antonio, the Promise, Thomas, Santell, Matera.
That's
Yeah.
what my son has. What does he go by? Is it Jack Santell, Jack Promise, Antonio? So he's
What's
and his
he gonna
name's
be? Well, I mean it's Jack Matera, but
well,
like,
his legal name is John Edward
oh
Matera.
really? Oh
So,
okay.
but through history, there's been Johns that's been their legal name, but they call him Jack. So we wanted something very strong and simple, and we like Jack. So
I like Shooter Jack. That's what
Shooter
he should
Jack
go
is
as. Yeah.
that's La Rocca.
Little
La Rocca calls him. Yeah,
with
yeah,
his
yeah.
little fists. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
he's
awesome.
ready.
Yeah.
That's why I'm in his nursery here.
Yeah.
I made there's some 80s
Oh
rookie
wow.
cards from hold on.
That's so cool.
Let me
Man, I
come up.
wish I had you as my dad.
So
My
we
dad was
got
just a drunk.
so I
Oh
made
wow. Is
that
that
for him.
who's okay? So is that Bo Jackson?
Bo Jackson, Ricky Henderson,
Yaz?
Clemens.
Oh yeah.
No, I got a Yaz one. Hold on.
Okay. Well,
Wade
who's the guy
Boggs,
beside Bog? Oh, that's Bog? No, that's not Boggs.
Mattingly.
No, who's beside Bo? Who
Oh,
is that?
Roger Clemens.
Oh, Clemens. Okay. Yeah. I didn't
Clemens. And then
recognize him
we
because he's
have
so young there.
Ozzie
Oh yeah.
Smith, Tony
Oh,
Gwynn,
cool.
and then over here I got a Red Sox one
Oh wow.
of there's a Yaz reprint, but all the others
Oh my God.
are
That's so awesome.
yeah. And then above his changing table, we got this Michael Jordan.
Awesome.
So he loves the colors, and
Yeah.
he's already he loves watching SmackDown, and he
He
loves watching football because of
you should
bright.
you should watch NXT with them. Like that, the
Oh,
colors on there, he'll love
I
it. I
don't
mean,
I don't
you can't stand the wrestling, yeah.
I've watched the first couple weeks, but we
So what's
watched.
the gimmick here is we're supposed to be drinking, but you're so portable. I bet
I
you're not.
actually
What do you have?
no, I have a buy
Mm,
drink right here, a
that's
coconut
cool.
buy.
Yeah.
So
This is coffee, 1 cream, 1 sugar from McDonald's.
okay, all
Yeah.
right. I
Yeah.
love McDonald's coffee. It's
Oh, it's awesome.
Paul Newman.
Well, I don't know in it's different in the States, but in Canada, we have the McDonald's has the same brew as Tim Hortons had up
Oh,
until about 2010.
okay.
So they used to have the worst coffee on the planet,
Yeah.
and now it's good. And the Tim Hortons is still good. They just have a slightly different brew.
We went away for this weekend for our we stayed at a Courtyard Marriott in the Berkshires,
Nice.
Western Mass. So they had a Starbucks downstairs, and you had to pay. They didn't have the free
Wow.
coffee or anything. I hate Starbucks. I'm a 99-cent coffee guy. Like
That's the best thing about McDonald's coffee.
Yeah, no, 99 cents. It's great.
Yeah.
I need coffee today because I didn't sleep well last night. Shooter's sleeping better. He's given us a couple 3-4 hour chunks a night.
Well, that's all right.
But I got my booster yesterday, so I'm a little
okay.
I was able to work out today, but I'm just like
we got ours scheduled for December 10th. So we were eligible November 30th, and then the first appointment my wife could get was December 3rd, but that's her birthday, so she didn't want to.
Okay.
She didn't have a reaction last time, but you don't want to take a chance. So
yeah,
we're probably going to go out for supper on her birthday. And
cool, nice. Yeah, that's my birthday is the 13th, December 13th.
Okay. Cool.
So my wife's getting hers.
I'll send you a Tim Hortons card
Sunday.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Don't know if you'll ever be able to use it. But
no, there's Tim Hortons here.
Oh, are there? Oh, cool.
Yeah, they sell the coffee in like Target and the grocery stores. So
So
I got my
Expos hat. Yeah, they may come back. I keep hearing the Rays. They're trying to move the Rays to Montreal. I hope that happens.
Half the games.
Yeah, that would be perfect because they're in the same division as the Blue Jays. And if the Expos do come back, they got to be in the same division. That was a big mistake that they made when they first started. I was just listening to a podcast where they talked about that. They talked with the guy who was kind of running the Blue Jays at the time, and he said that they wanted to be in the American League, but the American League at the time, the American League and the National League were completely separate, and they basically said, we don't want any expansion teams right now. So that's why they didn't get the Blue Jays, and so the Blue Jays, or the National League, I should say. So the Blue Jays and the Mariners both went to the American League, and the Expos and the Jays never actually played until, I don't think they ever played, because I think Interleague came in after the Nationals.
No,
like they played.
No,
they
they might have.
Games.
Interleague came in '96, I think.
No. Oh, okay. And the move happened in 2005. So yeah, they went out a few years then.
Right.
Yeah. So, there was the one year, I think 94 would have been the year that they would have maybe made the playoffs and played each other.
Oh, they would have. They had the best record.
Yeah, they would have been the World Series.
The Yankees, I think, had it in the AL. But that was the team with they had John Wetland, they had Jeff Facero, Pedro Martinez, Rondell White, Will Cordero.
Did they have Walker?
Larry, yes,
so.
I think they did have him at that time. They had Cliff Floyd.
And the Jays still had most of their World Series team, maybe like 2/3 of it.
They were under 500 that year, I think.
Oh, okay. So they wouldn't have made the playoffs then, probably.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I know the Red Sox were horrible that year because I went to a game. They had like Billy Hatcher leading off. That was the year before they had Mark Whitten. The
Jays were 16 back. Yankees won the division that year. Orioles were 5 back.
Okay.
So,
the Orioles had a good
Google
team.
Is awesome.
Good team in the
I mean, Ripken was still there, and I don't even remember. I've been playing a lot of OOTP lately.
Yeah.
Have you ever played that? It's awesome. It's so addictive, man. It's like you can start at any team in any year and just you take over the team, and it starts from there, and then you within 5 years it looks nothing like real life. And so you can so I took over the first time I played, I took over the 89 Jays or 85 Jays, and I won by 2015 I had won like 5 World Series. So that was cool. Yeah.
I used to make seasons on Tommy Lasorda baseball.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
For the Genesis. So I would play like 106. I played 154 games.
Okay.
And then my guys would have ridiculous stats. So
I'm simming most 90s. Of them. So it's really cool. Like I managed to trade for Barry Bonds at one point, and my team did really well for like 2 years, and then they went in the tank, and I couldn't trade Bonds because his contract was too high and nobody would take him. So by the time his contract was like, he had 2 years left because I signed him to like an 8-year deal, and my team was like, they won 70 games, and nobody would take Bonds. So I just basically had to let him go. Like I traded him for parts, and then my team went in the tank for like 2 years, but then they won a World Series like 3 years later. So so it's just like real life. It's so addictive.
We play in a lot of the same fantasy leagues, and I got into, I can't stand season long NFL fantasy. I got into a dynasty league last year. Brian Malonis is in there. Flex Rumble Crunch runs it. Dynasty is, and it's IDP, so you have defensive players. It gives a true, season long is hit or miss, but you can trade draft picks. You can trade all year round. I had an owner that wanted Jerry Jeudy for Denver. So he offered me, just wanted him, just likes, he offered me T. Higgins and 2 third-round picks for Jerry Jeudy. So I'm like, T. Higgins is pretty much is a better quarterback, way better quarterback.
You're basically getting 2 free draft picks.
So I'm getting 2 free draft picks who, like Rondale Moore was taken in the 3rd, Kenneth Gainwell, Chuba Hubbard. So you're getting good rookies because the rookies go into the draft, and then you're getting guys like Gronk or James Conner, So
in these dynasty league, then it's not just like you have like 2 keepers. This is like you're keeping the whole team.
You get to keep 20. You have your taxi league, which is rookies. You can keep up to 5 taxi league, and then you can keep up to 20. So Um, God, I kept Robbie Anderson was kept in one league this year, and he's been just horrible. But yeah, it's two quarterbacks. It's fun. It's different.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I joined a dynasty baseball league where they have an auction, and you
That's
can.
what I would want to be in. Like,
Well, I'll let you know
okay, sure.
if
Yeah.
there's a spot, because there's I
Oh yeah,
finished.
you'll take my money.
No, I
I'm
finished
so
fourth.
bad.
I was in first, but I messed up on the innings limit.
Yeah.
So the other
I
one,
I
the Roto, I won AL and NL.
I
Um,
crapped out in baseball this year so bad.
well,
I'm doing good.
you had your you set your auto auction wrong. You
Yeah.
had like
Yeah.
$87 for
Yeah.
Trevor Bauer. I
Well,
think.
I just because I was driving and I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to, I should have just let it auto draft. And I sometimes you get fixated on a player.
Mm,
Like a couple years ago, I mean, it worked for me because I got Jacob DeGrom, but I paid way too much for Jacob DeGrom. But then he went crazy, and
yeah.
he had an awesome year. And then I think but then you can't keep them. You only get them for the 1 year. So
Yeah.
$50
Keepers
was
for
high when I got them, but by the end of the year, it looked like a bargain.
yeah, because
For
keepers were single
10,
digits, so
10 bucks or yeah,
$9 and
under
under.
10 bucks. Yeah.
Because I
Like I
had
got Walker Bueller for 2 years in a row because I picked him up on waivers and then I got to keep
yeah.
him the next year. So that basically got me in the money for 2 years in a row, picking
Well,
up Walker Bueller on waivers.
I got a nice jump start because I had Corbin Burns as a keeper for $1.
Yeah.
I kept Dominic Smith and Alec Baum for $1. They sucked, but
Yeah.
I then got Freddie Peralta for $10. So you pair. That's what I found, man.
Yeah.
Pairing, you get two aces like that, or two guys that have great ratios and can strike out guys. Then you can just shuffle and stream the rest of the pitching staff. And
My AL, I had a choice between there's two mistakes I made in the AL draft. I had a choice between Biggio and and I can't remember who else, but whoever it was, I picked Calvin Biggio, and he
yeah,
just terrible. And
yeah.
then I'm sitting there in like the 8th round, and I'm looking at Randall Grichuk, and I'm like, he's not even going to play.
No, he
And
had a
you know
good
what?
year.
He had he didn't have a great year, but he had like
Yeah,
for an 8th round pick, he had a great year. And I
yeah.
just let him go because I figured, they were so low. They had Springer, Teoscar Hernandez, Lourdes Gurriel. Like at best, he's a fourth outfielder. But between the injuries and everything, like he had 25 homers at the All-Star break, I think,
Yeah.
Grichuk. And then he real tailed off in the second half. But I probably would have traded him.
No.
And so yeah, those were the two mistakes. In the NL, like I had a good team, but I had injuries. Like Cody Bellinger barely played, and Ronald Acuna,
Yeah.
that was my top
That's
player. And yeah,
done.
that you
Done.
can't do anything about that. So
Yeah. You
yeah,
had I think I had like the 6th pick. I took Bogarts in AL.
yeah,
Then
he had a
I
good
remember
year.
you took who he's
I
fine.
took Bo, and
You
so
took
I had a
Bo
choice
Bichette, and I
between
was like,
Bo Bichette
wow,
and Vlad.
that's a
And
little early, but Bo Bichette he's a
yeah,
first round pick. He
yeah,
was like 29 and 29, 100 RBIs, 100 runs, stud.
Vlad
Stud.
was still there in the 2nd round, and I could have grabbed him.
I
I
think
think.
Derek took him at the turn.
Okay.
He
So I
took
could have, yeah. So I probably could have got Vlad in the first and Bo in the second if I would have
uh
would have
I
been
don't
tough.
know. I don't
Because the
know.
Jays went early. Like a lot of the top Jays, like people were real high on the Jays coming off
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
So, and next year, I mean,
Springer went early. He
yeah.
won't do that next year. But
No, Springer's. I don't know. Like I'm hoping
who
they get Simeon and Ray, and I got Ray on a trade. That was
Oh, yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. Ray was people were
Yeah,
done with him coming from Arizona.
yeah, and I got him for cheap.
Yeah. Hey, let me
Yeah,
ask you this. I
yeah.
think the days of Mike Trout going number 1 are like the far and away number 1 pick are over.
Oh yeah.
Who I got to think Otani first pick, but who else for
Well, okay.
AL?
Do you get both stats?
Yeah, if you get both stats,
Oh, okay,
yes.
yeah. If you get both stats, Otani, but otherwise, I think it's Vlad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or I mean, yeah. I don't think Marcus Simeon's going to have as good a year as he did last year. Trying to think who else other than the
He
Jays.
finished 3rd in 2019. He finished
He's going to
3rd
be
in the
third this year
MVP
too.
race.
He'll be third this year. He'll be behind Otani and Vlad, I think.
Yeah, Otani's getting it. He has to get it.
He had to set a record for most home runs by a second baseman. Like all time.
Oh, Semyon. Yeah.
Yeah, like
He,
46.
yeah, Davy Johnson had the record, I
Yeah.
think, in like 72
I
for
remember
Baltimore.
you texted me the day the Jays signed him, and I had no idea who he was. Like, because
Really?
I'm a huge baseball fan. Like, I watch every single day, but all I watch is the Jays.
Yeah.
So, I looked at his stats, and I just looked at last year, and he was like 218 and 3
He's
home
good.
runs or something. But because he had a bad year in the short season, but he had really good playoffs, and he had the MVP quality year the year before. So
Yeah.
he was great. So they got Robbie Ray and him and Steven Matz. They got to re-sign. I think they're going to get Matz, but I don't think they're going to get the other two. Ray's got to be the focus, I think. But
Yeah. Well, you told
So
me about Jordan Romano 2 years ago. You're like,
yeah,
watch this kid.
yeah.
And
I picked
Julian
him up on
Merriweather
waivers.
was out. What's that?
I got Romano on waivers this year.
Yeah, he was out there because
Yeah.
who was the closer to start the Lee, not
It was supposed
Hendricks.
to be Kirby Yates, but he
Yes.
got injured before the season started, and he never played. So they paid $5 million for nothing.
Do they have Giles, or is that Ken Giles, or is
No,
that
Giles.
Seattle?
I don't
Seattle,
even
right?
know what happened to him, but I know they don't. He's not on their team anymore.
Tommy John. Okay.
Yeah, and Yates is. I think it was just a 1-year deal. So I mean, they could re-sign him if they want to, but I mean, they
Yeah,
got
get out
Romano.
of the
They don't
way of
need to.
that.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, we're almost. I mean, we're actually a little bit over what I intended to do. So I mean, we feel like we're barely getting started, but it's a
That's
good
okay.
conversation, and
We can run it back. We can
yeah,
run it
oh, for
back.
sure. I'll definitely have you back on. If you haven't seen it, or if anyone out there listening hasn't seen the first two shows, the first one with Mike Gilbert of Brace for Impact podcast was we got a lot of positive feedback on it. Went in a direction I wasn't expecting, and we got a lot of good feedback on that one. And last night as we're recording, 2 days ago, as people are watching, because this will air on Friday. We had Jeff Hawkins, and we had a nice conversation about comedy and growing up as church kids and all this. And
That's me.
yeah. Oh, there you go. See, we could have gone there. So
I
check
got
that one
kicked.
out.
I got kicked out of CCD my junior year in high school. Year I was making my confirmation.
I have a feeling your childhood went a lot better than mine and Jeff's. Just based on your looks.
We can. No, I wasn't. No. I wasn't. I was always cute, but I wasn't. Physically.
Jeff was the guy who just sat in the corner and like didn't say anything to anybody and didn't say boo, never skipped school. I tried to be a rebel, and I was the one who would go from youth group. I'd go get drunk and then come back to youth group, and I used to get in trouble, and all my church friends would get in trouble for hanging out with me. And then I kind of smartened up when I turned 40. No, like 27 to be fair. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, we're having a lot of fun. I got guests lined up for next week already.
Cool.
And yeah, and we'll have you back on for sure again next time. And maybe, at some point we'll have Shooter Jack on.
We'll get Shooter Jack to do a cameo. Yeah. He's gotten shout outs on like 4 different podcasts.
Well, there you go. Make it 5.
Yeah.
So for Promise, I'm Paul, and this has been Cup of Joe with Grampa Dez. Cup of Joe with Grampa Dez.